Story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing.
Good morning, and welcome to Story Time. Thank you for joining me. Happy Thursday, wherever you're joining us from. Indeed, we're here for another story. So glad to be here together. Welcome. And please, as always, let me know where you're joining in from and who is joining in with you. We do have a wonderful story indeed to read today, and this one is coming to you from Zetta, Elliott, and Aaron Boyd, and this one is called MELENA'S Jubilee, the story of a fresh start. Yes, we all need those, don't we? The story of a fresh start. And we'll learn a little bit more about what Jubilee is and what it means. And of course, we're reading this one with permission of TILBURY House Publishing. Thank you so much for joining in, and a big thank you to Tilbury House of Maine for allowing us to share this story right here on Storytime. A big thank you to Zetta, Elliott as well. Thank you for joining in Storytime. Glad you're here. I hope that you're ready for this wonderful story. Get comfortable and please let us know where you're joining in from. And indeed, if anybody else is joining in with you, who is joining in with you today? Good morning to you. Yes, MELENA'S Jubilee, the story of a fresh start. Thank you so much for joining in. And of course, too, saying thank you to Chad for this amazing art. Thank you so much. I love it. Thank you for sharing that. I hope that you are having a wonderful time. I am loving it here. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, indeed. And I did share it with Tim as well. Yes, indeed. He appreciated it. Thank you so much for sending in that beautiful art to us. Thank you, Chad. And I hope that you are having a wonderful morning. All right, let us see who else is with us this morning, ready to enjoy story time. All right, good morning to you. Oh my goodness, how are you doing, Mateo and Leon? I have not seen you in a minute. How are you doing? Good to see you back here on Storytime. I hope that everything is okay where you are. It was good to see you out here in Oakland not too long ago. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. I hope you're well. And Isabel, of course, sending you love as well. Thank you so much for joining us from Oklahoma. Thank you, Mateo and Leon. Oh, miss you out here. Thank you for being here with us on Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. Good morning to you, Abraham, and of course, Terry. Thank you for being here on Storytime. And you say, happy Thursday, and you're ready for today's story. I would like to share, we are also reading the ABCs of Black History. I love that one. It is an absolutely good book. I'll try and bring it here too, so people can see. Those that don't know it can see what it looks like, and indeed try and share it on our platforms. Thank you so much for that one. Absolutely appreciate it. Yes, indeed. Today, MELENA'S Jubilee, but of course, many great books out there that people are reading. Please do share whatever you're reading as well. Send us recommendations and we'll try and bring them here to Storytime. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you. Good morning to you, Abraham. And one more time, Terry, thank you so much for joining us. Oh my goodness. out in Illinois. Been following the news. It is absolutely cold, but we're glad you're here. Sarah and Nathan, and of course Amanda is saying in our area of snow-covered Illinois. Well, thank you so much for joining in. Good morning to you. How are you doing? So much snow. Oh my goodness. Thank you for being here. I hope that you're staying okay, and I hope that indeed those roadways are being cleared so we are safe to travel around there. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time, and of course glad that you are here. Please do stay safe and do stay warm. Of course, indeed, sparing a thought for everybody out there that is in that cold right now. Thank you so much for being here on Storytime. Sarah and Nathan, and of course, Amanda. Thank you. Good morning to you, Kate. How are you doing? Theo and Garrick, how are you doing in icy and cold Pittsburgh? Well, thank you so much for being here. Good to see you back on Storytime. Thank you for being here. Theo, Kate, and of course, Garrick, thank you so much for being here on Storytime. Glad to see you as always. I am glad you're here with us today, and we're ready for a beautiful story. MELENA'S Jubilee, the story of a fresh start. This one is written by Zetta, Elliott, and of course illustrations by Aaron Boyd, and reading it with permission of Tilbury House Publishing. Thank you for being here. Who else is with us? Good morning to you, Ali Amin. And of course, Jessica, thank you so much for joining us out in Washington. Thank you for being here. Good morning to you. Good to see you here. I'm glad you're here with us. Ready for a story. Thank you. Yes, and you're saying so much snow in Oklahoma as well. Leon and Mateo, please do stay warm. And of course, I miss you so much. Hopefully, we get to see you again soon. Thank you. And good to know that you are doing well. Thank you for being here on Storytime. Rain and cold in Natchitoches, Louisiana. And of course, beautiful hellos from Braylon and Chad. And they say we're snuggling with cozy blankets. That sounds amazing. Indeed, perfect for story time. And we're going to be getting started with our story very shortly. But before we go into that, we have a short break, just something to enjoy, something to, that I love so much. It brings joy to my heart. I hope that it does the same for you. Yes, indeed. I hope you're ready for this one. Get ready, coming up, and we'll read our book after this short break. Oh, here we go.
Hi, Mr. Yamada. Happy anniversary! Story time with Mr. Yamada. We starting soon. Story time with Mr. Lamada. All the dreams come true. Brings to life your favorite stories to make me smile. You won't be lonely once you start. All your reading, you just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lamada. We'll be starting soon. Story time with Mr. Lamada. All your dreams come true. Brings to life your favorite stories will make me smile. You won't be lonely once you start. All your reading, just can't wait to be hearing. me on stories. Bring me on stories. Someone who's far away. I'm right here in my neighborhood. Read me on stories. Read me on stories. Some people look like me. I'm right here in my neighborhood. Look at me. Stories. Read me on stories. Some people far away. I'm right here in my neighborhood. Story time. Story time. Story time with Mr. Lamada. We'll be starting soon. Oh. Story time with Mr. Lamada. All your dreams come true. Oh. It's alive. If every story, every smile, you won't be lonely. Won't start all your reading. Just can't wait to be hearing. It's alive. If every story, every smile, you won't be lonely. Won't start all your reading. Just can't wait to be hearing. Happy anniversary, Mr. Lamada. Hi.
Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. Absolutely love that one. Makes me laugh every time. It is not our anniversary, but it is coming up very, very soon in March. But just thought I should share that one again. Makes me laugh every time. Thank you for being here. All right, now we're going to get started after all that joy. Thank you to the homeschooling folk in Natchitoches, Louisiana. Absolutely appreciate you for that. And of course, today we're reading MELENA'S Jubilee, the story of a fresh start. And this one is by Zetta, Elliott, and illustrations by Aaron Boyd. And we're reading it with permission of Tilbury House Publishing. So just a bit of background on what Jubilee is, and I'll read that very quickly, and then we'll go back into our story. So it says here, author's note from Zetta Elliott. For this story, I used the concept of Jubilee to represent MELENA'S fresh start. She is forgiven by her family after making a mistake, and MELENA doesn't make Garvin pay the money back that she loaned him. On this otherwise ordinary day, MELENA tries to do things differently, and the song in her heart fills her with joy and peace. Jubilee has long held a place in the hearts of African Americans. Enslaved Africans had their own religions when they were brought to the Americas, but African Americans embraced Christianity over time. Although most of the slaves were forbidden from learning to read, Bible stories were shared orally, and some enslaved people memorized the verses that gave them comfort. The practice of Jubilee is explained in the book of Leviticus. Every 50 years, slaves were to be freed, debts forgiven, and families reunited. Not surprisingly, Jubilee held special meaning for the enslaved African Americans who longed for freedom and the chance to be with their loved ones. When President Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863, African Americans declared it the Day of Jubilee. The proclamation only freed slaves in those states that had seceded from the Union, but African Americans believed the president's gesture signaled the end of slavery. Jubilee Day continues to be celebrated in some parts of the country and serves as an opportunity for African Americans to reflect on the past and focus on ways to strengthen our communities. We don't have to wait 50 years to do things that can change our lives and improve our communities. Every day when we wake up, we can choose not to hold on to anger or fight with others. We can choose instead to see the beauty in our world and share what we have with those in need. The spirit of Jubilee also lives on in the global campaign for debt relief. Many social justice activists believe that the impoverished countries shouldn't be forced to repay loans from the wealthy countries, especially when the unfair extraction of the resources by the creditor countries created that poverty in the first place. When debt is forgiven, millions of dollars can go toward better schools, hospitals, and roads. Lifting the burden of the debt from the poor countries can enable them to grow their economies and become independent so that loans aren't needed in the future. Jubilee remains relevant in our world because everyone understands the value of starting over. So that is just a little bit of background. And of course, there are steps here that are given, 7 things that you could do in your own Jubilee journey, in your own fresh start. And we can look at some of those at the end. But for now, let's get into our story, MELENA'S Jubilee, the story of a fresh start. And this one is coming to you from Zetta, Elliott, and illustrations by Aaron Boyd. Here we go. And a big thank you, of course, as well to Tilbury House Publishers for allowing us to share this wonderful book here on Storytime. All right. I woke up this morning with a song in my heart and looked out my window. The night rain had washed away our chalk drawings, but I didn't mind. The sidewalk was clean, and that meant we could start over. Nothing like a fresh painting, to fresh start. Clean canvas, just like this day that we have today. This morning, I remembered to make my bed. Yesterday, I forgot. Did you make your bed yet? Yesterday, I also forgot to put my toys away, and when Grandma's friend came over, he tripped on one and banged into the table. Oh, that's how my mother's favorite vase got broken. It seemed like everyone was mad at me. Oh. This morning, when I crept into the kitchen and slipped into my seat, Grandma winked at me. Mama set down my breakfast and kissed the top of my head. Does this mean you aren't mad at me anymore? I asked. I never let the sun go down on my anger, Grandma said. Today's a new day, Melena, Mama added, and that means you've got a fresh start. After work, I am going to stop at the store to get some glue. Maybe this evening you can help me fix my vase. Oh. Fresh start. After breakfast, I told Grandma about the song in my heart. She put the dishes in the sink and began running the water. Steam and bubbles drifted up towards my grandmother's pretty face. I feel that way some days, she said. Some days I wake up feeling like I am brand new. She chuckled, and that's a pretty special feeling for an old lady like me, she said. I chuckled too and told Grandma that today felt like the first page of a brand new book. Oh, well, what are you planning to write on that first page? She asked me. I told her I wasn't sure. And it is okay not to be sure. Oh. When we finished the dishes, I called my best friend Helen and told her to meet me outside. On my way out, I passed behind my older brother Miles. I thought about this time last week when he snuck up behind me and whacked me over the head with his tennis racket. Now I had a chance to pay him back. I thought about how surprised Miles would be when the heavy cushion from the sofa went whomp upside his head. Oh my, is Melena going to do it? But then I remembered that this was my fresh start day, and pounding Miles didn't seem like such a good idea. After all, he would only hit me back, and Miles hits pretty hard. So I let him alone. and went outside. Helen was standing on the sidewalk. She looked upset. "What's wrong?" I asked. "The poem I wrote about the rainbow got washed away," said Helen. "Oh, sorry, Helen. So write a new poem," I suggested. Helen knelt down and started drawing a flower instead. I took a piece of chalk and wrote, "There is a song in my heart." "What's your song about?" Helen asked. "I am not sure," I said, "but it makes me want to celebrate." Helen stopped drawing. "Celebrate what?" I looked around. "I don't know. Maybe the sun or those trees over there. We could celebrate flowers and birds. We could even celebrate being friends." Helen rolled her eyes. "Oh, Melena, whatever you say." I hummed softly to myself. Oh. When it was time for lunch, we went inside. Grandma's out back," Miles mumbled with his mouth full of food. Helen and I looked out the back door and saw Grandma digging in the garden. "Are you girls hungry?" She called us. Helen and I nodded, yes. Suddenly, I had an idea. "Grandma, why don't we eat the things that are growing in your garden?" Oh. Yes, fresh vegetables. Grandma pushed back her sun hat and studied me for a minute. Then she shrugged, picked up her basket, and started telling us what to pick. We had the most delicious lunch. Oh. When we finished eating, Grandma gave us some money. Helen and I ran outside, followed the tinkling tune of the ice cream truck. Up the block, we saw Gavin and his twin brothers. Helen tagged my arm. "Hey, Mel, Gavin owes you $1. Remember?" I remembered. I loaned it to him last week at the pizza shop. Gavin never gets to buy anything for himself. He always has to share with his little brothers. When we reached the truck, Helen tugged my arm again. "Tell Gavin you want your money back," she whispered. "Then we can get double swirl coins." Gavin was counting coins in the palm of his hand. He looked up and smiled at us. "Hey, Melena. Hey, Helen." Oh. I want ice cream too. On any other day, I would have told Gavin I wanted my money back. But today was my fresh start day. "Let's pool our money," I suggested. "That way we can buy a hot fudge sundae and split it 5 ways. 5 ways? Gasped Helen. The twins started jumping up and down. "Sprinkles, sprinkles, sprinkles," they cried. Gavin stared at the coins in his hand. "I am not sure, Melena." But before he could finish, I said, "Well, I am." We carried our hot fudge sundae over to the park and dug in. Then we spread out on top of the jungle gym and took turns pointing out funny-shaped clouds. Oh. That does sound fun, like fun. After a while, we got quiet. Then Gavin said, "Have you ever thought about the sun?" "What about it?" I asked. "Well," said Gavin, "there's only one sun that shines on everybody in the world, no matter where you live and how you look or how much money you have. Sunshine's free for everyone," said Helen. "I never thought of it that way," I said. And we got quiet again. I closed my eyes and felt the sun beaming down on me. I began to hum, softly at first, but Gavin heard me and joined in. Is that the song in your heart? Asked Helen. I nodded and kept on humming. What's it about? Asked Gavin. Oh, it's about lots of things, I said. It's about waking up to a blue sky and finding out you've been forgiven. It's about the sunshine and the tasty things that grow in my grandmother's garden. But mostly, it's about having a chance to start all over again every single day. Oh, isn't that beautiful? The end, of course, taking us back to our author's note. But here are some 7 things that you can do to have your very own fresh start day. And I'll read just 3 of them. 1, make a clean sweep. Tidy your room and donate to charity any unused toys or clothes you no longer wear. So true. How about this one? Pay it back and pay it forward. Pay back any money you owe to others, including outstanding fines at the library. If you have a little extra, share what you have with others. Donate canned goods to a food bank or volunteer to help out at your local soup kitchen or nonprofit. That's one way to do it. Number 7, try smiling at everyone you meet for the entire day, even if they don't smile back. Choose to stay positive and show kindness to others without expecting to be thanked. Oh, and there are others as well that you could read. So please find this book at your local library. It is indeed a good one. I love this one. It just reminds us of the beauty, the opportunity that we have on this brand new canvas that is this brand new day to start our painting, to start our story today. You have a fresh start. I hope you have a fresh start as well. And remember to extend that kindness to all the others out there. Indeed, that is the story of Jubilee. And I hope that we learn something from it. And of course, I hope that it inspires us and encourages us to go on into this beautiful day, knowing that we have the opportunity to write our story, to tell our story, to sing our song. Yes, that song that is in your heart. Please sing it joyfully, sing it proudly. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. This has been Storytime for today. I am thankful today indeed to Nakitosh. Thank you so much. Chad, and of course Braylon. I know Kevaya is not here, but that lovely video too just makes me laugh, makes my heart so glad. And thank you for this beautiful art too. Yes, indeed, I am thankful for many things, including this wonderful art. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. And of course, I just hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful day. We continue to celebrate Black History Month here on Storytime, and we'll be reading many stories of joy, many stories of laughter, and of course, many stories of love as well. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. We're back again tomorrow with another exciting story, bringing this one back, and it is the story of Wilma Rudolph, and this one is The Quickest Kid in Clarksville. Do join me for this one, written by Pat Zitlow Miller and illustrations by Frank Morrison. So please do join us tomorrow for another exciting story, and this one is called The Quickest Kid in Clarksville. Yes, indeed. Are you the quickest kid in your neighborhood? Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Absolutely appreciate the time that we spent together. I hope that you have a lovely, lovely day indeed. Let us see one more time who was with us enjoying a wonderful, wonderful story. Thank you. If you're still here, I am glad we're here together. Hopefully we haven't lost you. I am so happy to be here. Thank you so much, Maureen Whalen. Good to see you here. I hope that your school year is going lovely. Thank you so much for being here. I know it is a challenging year. It is a challenging year indeed, but you're still there. We're all here. We're in this together. Thank you so much for joining in, Maureen. Miss you so much. Good to see you here on Storytime. And of course, sending love to Matt out there. And of course, your little one, not so little anymore. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Erin Corgan, good to see you here on Storytime. Indeed. May it shine on you as well. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Absolutely love it that you are here with us. Amanda, where's Sarah and Nathan? You're saying what a beautiful book with beautiful colors and a wonderful message. Indeed, it is the total package right here. MELENA'S Jubilee, the story of a fresh start. This one by Zetta, Elliott. You know Zetta Elliott means business. Beautiful, beautiful book indeed. And of course, beautiful illustrations by Aaron Boyd and published by TILBURY House. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you. No, I am over the moon. Thank you so much to you. Of course, Braylon, Chad, thank you. And of course, Kevaya, thinking of you as well. I am glad that made you smile because it definitely makes my heart glad over here. Thank you so much for joining in. Love it. And I'm glad too that you enjoyed the book. Please remember to send recommendations if you do have them, and we will try our best to bring them here on Storytime. This has been Storytime for today. Please do join me tomorrow when we are back with more stories, and we will be reading The Quickest Kid in Clarksville. For those of you that are joining us for the recordings after this, we love you. Thank you for being here, and I hope that you have a wonderful time as well. Borden and Chrissy out in Vermont, of course, good morning to you. Amanda, how are you doing? And of course, baby Bia and Marlin and everybody else that we're forgetting today. We love you, and thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Happy Thursday. Happy Black History Month, and indeed, Black Futures Month. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope that you enjoyed. And of course, if you're still celebrating the Lunar New Year, please keep going. We know those celebrations carry on. And of course, February is the month of love. So absolutely go ahead, share that love. Thank you so much for being here on Storytime. We'll see you again tomorrow for more Storytime. Get your running shoes on when you're coming to this one, because we will be the quickest kids in Clarksville. We'll be trying to catch up with the quickest kid in Clarksville. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Much love from me. Lots and lots of love. I will see you again tomorrow. Have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful day. A fresh start. Yes, have yourself a beautiful day that is beautiful like the song that is in your heart. Yes, joyful, joyful songs. Shine on. Thank you so much for being here on Storytime. Much love. Bye-bye.
Story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be real. Brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be